funniest thing about all these suckers in the world is one basic thing. You're stuck living a restricted existence, confined to redundant and very degenerate, very debilitating pleasures. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here, I'm going through my flow, I'm going through my growth. And I reflected on the fact that there's so many people, you know, we're all still on earth, but we're not all on the same existential plane, right? The same experiential plane. Self-experience is everything. Self-experience is consciousness. We're not all on the same plane. So I'm thinking about all the people that I started amongst and how they're just so still stuck on chasing drinks, chasing smoke, chasing sex. Like I said, the redundant pleasures, degenerate, redundant, closed, restricted, limited, and debilitating pleasures of existence. Those are the experiences that they're limited and confined to by choice, because what they don't want to do. What I realize, I'm in an ever expanding, I'm in an ever growing, I'm in an everlasting experience of heightened unfoldment, right? So whatever you are, your world is yours. People are trading everlasting growth, everlasting expansion, everlasting prosperity, unending, non-circuitous, non-redundant living and existence for what? To stay in tiny circumscribed realities, limited and restricted to habits, pleasures, and behaviors that keep them on the same level of self-experience. Why your world is yours. Once you recognize it was never about getting anything, it was about becoming something. And by becoming something, you achieve a higher state of self-experience, as I said it earlier in this message. Self-experience is everything. Then you realize everybody out here is seeking a better self-experience, but people aren't becoming more. So they're leaning on these external tools to induce an experience for the self, not by the self, not by themselves. You feel me? So whatever your world is yours. Heightened state of being, why. I tell them all the time. So I'm sitting back and, you know, we in Egypt. It's a beautiful day by the water. You know, the tides are pretty low. You know what I'm saying? The wind ain't blowing crazy. It's a beautiful, nice day. And I remember all the days I was in the snow in Fort Greene Park. What the fuck? It's February 2nd. I was doing 400 push-ups every day for Black History Month for 3 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget that. I never missed on nothing. Never missed on none of my commitments. Never missed on none of my words. Just kept growing. Never did no relapsing. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, like, we went from being slumped by the toilet bowl to going through the snow to now we across the globe. And how did that happen other than leaving behind the redundancy of the simple creature carnal pleasures that everybody else is so quote unquote addicted to, more than they just leave themselves limited and restricted to that shit? Because at the end of the day, to step outside of your quote unquote comfort zone is to step outside of your range of familiar experience. Step outside your range of familiar experience, that's where you get uncomfortable. Some of us rather step out of our range of familiar experience and enjoy that process than to stay in a limited range of familiar experience and knowing that there's more to be. That's where the angst comes in. That's where the anxiety comes in for a true grower, a true evolutionary. You feel me? So whatever your world is yours. I look at people, they're like, oh, you know, it's not comfortable to know that time is going by and you're not growing and becoming and unfolding. It's like, imagine a tree's plants, nothing in nature can stop the course of its own unfoldment and growth, except for humans. So, but just try to bear with me on this one. Imagine a tree was sitting amongst other trees and was like, you know what, I'm going to try to just stay, and everybody was growing around them. You don't think that the tree would experience some type of conflict, an inner conflict? Anxiety is inner conflict. Depression is inner conflict. Depression happens through repression. Anxiety happens through repression and delayed action. Whatever your world is yours. So people who are depressed want to express themselves but don't, so they repress themselves, and hence the suppression, hence the depression. And people who are anxiety have an internal conflict because they project themselves into the future, they don't act, and they're stuck, incapacitated. So whatever your world is yours. The whole point of this message is just to reflect on the fact that people are still exactly where they are as beings on the same level of existence, of being that they were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you know, and it may change on the surface. It may seem as if, you know, they're going through times and they're just rearranging surfaces. So they might have some new clothes, be in a new environment, but they haven't developed and grown and evolved and unfolded to a new level of self-potentiality, or self-actualization, right? So whatever your world is yours, you have to be able to have a heightened sense of perception to even be able to assess this type of qualitative assessment. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you are, consider vibrations raised. Not going to drag it out. It's just like, all you got to do is say, hey, Sheikhy, sign me up. I'm ready to not be out of shape. I'm ready to have this physical vessel that's capable of moving, doing, and being more. Whatever you are, your world is yours. I'm ready. Sign me up. I don't want to be addicted. Sign me up. I don't want to live this mediocre, less than subpar existence when I know there's more for me. Hey, Sheikhy, show me the ways of superior conduct. Can you give me superior instructions? Or you can be like the rest of these individuals who are like, I'm just gonna stay broke, addicted, out of shape, and live this whack-ass restricted existence, even though I want more, but I'm just so unwilling to raise my standard of personal conduct, right? Because the money never mattered. We got the keys, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like, money don't really affect a person who's on the everlasting path. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are living conditional lives based on whether you have or you don't have. We're living unconditional lives based on whether we are or we aren't. Whole different situations. We're gonna be more, and now that we are more, we naturally attract and have more. And once you have more, you can do more. You can't actually do more if you don't have enough, and you won't ever have enough if you aren't enough. You understand that process. Whatever your world is yours. Rarest motherfucker on the planet. I don't give a fuck. You could go talk to him. You could go talk to her. They're not delivering you clarity at this level, and they're not also demonstrating the personification of the teachings that they're trying to disseminate to the people at this level. I never focused on getting money. I always focused on becoming more. And that's the only thing I'm ever going to focus on, and it's going to happen just like that. There are people in this world who could never be more than me because you have a limited cultural background. You have limited cultural resources. Sheikhy Chic is like the wild card of the century. Born in Brooklyn, New York. Sudanese descent. Went back and forth to Sudan countless times. He's a true adaptable soul. Consider the vibrations raised. Get your ass on the program and know what the vibes are. You know what I'm saying? You could live that redundant, circuitous, restricted existence that everybody is trying to purport is fun, when we all know they wake up in the morning depressed, stressed, and anxious, and living in existential angst about their next meal, how they're going to get their situation situated. Or you could step into that everlasting unfoldment that I keep telling y'all about, this eternal progression, this eternal superior conduct, and just raise your conduct. And once you raise your conduct, you get to experience a new person. You get to experience you at a higher level, and the world now has to experience a higher level person. Don't be selfish. Consider the vibrations raised.